Welcome to the Spa Girls podcast, the self-publishing podcast for authors. You're in the right place for the best writing, marketing, and publishing advice, plus interviews with industry experts and best-selling authors. I'm Cheryl Phipps.
And apparently I'm Shah Barrett.
I'm Wendy Vella.
And I'm Trudy G. Hello. Hello.
There's some different vibes going on there today.
Yeah, I reckon.
I did that on purpose because of the different vibes. I was like, well, apparently, Shah.
Yeah, sandwich sleeping.
So everyone, you've got all four of the Spa Girls if you're listening to us or watching us on YouTube, which many, many people are now, apparently.
Yes, thank you to the 4,000 plus people that watch us on YouTube on a regular basis.
To 4,000, I meant to make more of an effort.
If you could subscribe, that would be super awesome to get up to 4,256 subscribers, just saying.
Oh, here we go.
You can see
Oh my
Wendy's
gosh, I
dodgy
remember when it
outfits.
was 1,000 and you were like, oh, we need to get up to, and now we're at 4 and she's still harping.
5 would be good.
Yeah.
10 would be even better.
10 would be
Just-
even
But
better.
good job, Shah. But good job.
Yeah, you'll keep you on.
So anyway, actual topic of the day is actually a question that someone asked us on YouTube.
On YouTube.
So that's a nice, linking in there. The
Segue
story.
into.
Segue. And it was about changing genres. So we thought we'd just have a discussion about when we have changed genres, why we've changed genres, and just ask some of the questions that were asked in that post by a delightful reader who we are thankful to.
Listener?
Shall I read it? I'll read the questions.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about, so we've worked out sort of maybe 5 questions you should ask yourself and think through when you're thinking about changing a genre to help you. It's kind of a framework to help you make a decision like that. But let's read it out first. Shall I just read it out? Anyone else?
Go
want to?
for it.
Go.
You
Okay.
go.
So the question is, I'd love to know how Cheryl knew it was the right decision to change genre. How did she know she wasn't just chasing a shiny new object? What did she change? When do you give up on a genre? Sorry. I'm struggling with this myself, but I'm wary of making a mistake. And does Cheryl do all her new writing under the same pen name? So those are all the
So
questions.
just for context, that question was actually posted under our mental resilience, which I'll link to in the show notes episode. And Cheryl mentioned about changing genres. And so thank you
Yeah.
for the question.
Yeah, it's a good question too, because it is one that I guess we worry about. Any changes actually that we make in our business, and we kind of worry about whether we're making the right decision, and is it going to be all a mistake, and is it all like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And
Yeah.
How it's going to impact what we've already achieved or
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
achieved, or is
Or
it
are
going
we
to move the
giving up
needle, or
too
is it going to lower the
soon
needle?
on, are we changing lanes too soon?
Yeah.
And I think the first thing you have to say is there's no right or wrong answer, right? Like
Yeah.
there's no
Absolutely.
way to know definitely whether you are doing the right thing or making a
No.
mistake.
Unless you've got a crystal ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that works.
Yeah.
And there is no one shoe fits all. Like what I would do would be different from Cher and Trude's and Shah.
And has been.
Has been.
Yeah.
And we've advised each other to do things and proven wrong, surprisingly. Whereas that's a shock because we're always right. But, I think what you do is solely got to be your decision. You can get all the information, right? Gather,
That's
collate
That's key.
everything, but ultimately back yourself if you make the decision. But I also think you've got to give it a good shot.
Yeah.
And also I think the thing to remember is one decision in the course of your career is not going to completely derail and destroy everything and it's all gone. Like you make a decision to change a genre, maybe it doesn't go exactly as you planned, and you make another change. It's a decision-making process. And that's something that I used to struggle with, which is why I feel quite strongly about this, is like I used to sit there and go, I need to know the right decision. I can't make a move until I know what's right. And I had to really learn that actually you make one decision, and then just any decision, it doesn't matter what the decision is, and then you work through that, and then there will be things that don't quite work out, and then you make adjustments on that. And it's a process, not just one decision is going to blow everything up and destroy it, or will be the best thing ever. It's never like that. Even if it is a more like you make a decision and positive things happen, there might be some other things that are not so positive that you just you make changes, you adjust for what's happening as you go along. So is that fear of like, what if this is a mistake and I'm making the worst decision ever is maybe just something you need to reframe a little, perhaps. I don't know.
I think in the beginning of your career too, I think if you're going to make a change, that's the time to do it, rather than being established. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think being early on, you actually have a lot more flexibility to try on different things. Absolutely.
Especially if you have another job. I think that's kind of like the golden time, really. It doesn't feel like it because you've got all these pressures and especially time pressures, but actually that is the time to test. And
absolutely.
And we didn't do it. We just went in guns blazing, and for Wendy, it was a hit pretty much from the get-go. I mean, not what you're doing now, but like comparatively,
it was successful.
It was very successful. For me, it just wasn't. It just wasn't. It took me, a couple of years to meet the threshold every month. And then it was always slow. So the decision to pivot was relatively easy. And I don't mean like easy, but I wasn't doing well sales-wise. I really wasn't. And I was like, if I want this to be my life, how can I make it work? And
So,
sorry.
Sorry to interrupt you there, because you kind of pivoted from romance to cozy mystery, but
Yes.
then you also pivoted within cozy mystery to paranormal cozy mystery,
Yes.
which seem like they might be the same genre, but people really don't necessarily read
Yeah.
normal, like culinary
Yes.
paranormal versus
Yeah.
paranormal.
Yeah.
Now I'm lost. Paranormal
Yes.
cozy mystery.
Culinary cozy mystery.
Culinary cozy mystery. So which change are you talking about? You're talking about the change from romance to cozy?
And initially, yes, initially that was a whole pen name thing because I didn't feel like my cozy mysteries were alike with my romance. And yet, as time goes on, it appears that they have evolved a bit more romance in them because I can't help myself. Because that's where I started. That's where I did all my teething and my learning and of the craft of writing. So, and it's how I live my life. I like romance. I like reading romance. But initially, it was like, will my readers want this new flavor? Will they want it? And then again, like you say, moving on to the paranormal cozy mysteries, I also knew that there might be some pushback. But surprisingly, and maybe because most of my paranormal cozy mysteries also have some baking in them.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can see that even though I have evolved, there are facets of it that are very similar.
Yeah.
And even in my pen name, because the pen name I chose is C.A. Phipps. I write romance as Cheryl Phipps. I write cozy mysteries as C.A. Phipps, culinary and paranormal. So there's no hiding it. There's no pretense that I'm not the same person. But for you as a reader, if you want to go in and buy my books, you know what you're getting for each pen name. And I think that was a smart move. It's also a time-consuming move. But yeah.
But there was definitely like you leveled up each time. Like even though
absolutely.
Like you were doing really well with your culinary cozy mysteries.
Yep.
When you made that decision to move to paranormal. And that's the one I was talking about that we were all like saying, oh, you're doing so well with you. Like, why would you change? Don't do that. And then you did it anyway, because that's your style and you're backing yourself, as we talk about. And then you're doing even better with those ones, right? Like, are they still the ones that are doing the best for you?
For that they really are. But I have a long-running series in my culinary cozy mysteries that is so consistent. So I wouldn't give up either. And I haven't given up the romance, just saying, in the background there. But for me, moving into the paranormal was actually a financial decision because there was a wave that was hitting, and it was I didn't see it declining anytime soon, and it did intrigue me. I don't like scary things, so it's never going to be too out there. But there is woo-woo, and there is, there are witches and that sort of thing. But it was a purely a financial decision. I was doing well. I wasn't doing well enough, and it mattered. It mattered to me. I wanted to go. I did actually go full time before I went into the paranormal, but that just stepped me up another level, and I haven't looked back since then.
So that's actually really good. It leads to the first point that we had, which is check your motivation. So it's why do you want to change? Right? Why do you, if you're thinking of changing genres, what is the what is the reasoning? And are you running from something, like you think something's not working and you're trying to escape that thing and you're panicking and looking around for whatever it is, or are you stepping towards something? You've noticed, like you just said, you've noticed a section of your genre that is doing well, and you think that you kind of could do that well, as you know, that might be a good progression of your career, for example. So the push-pull kind of thing. And
you've got it. There's a couple of things there though, too, and one of them is motivation. Why are you doing it? We talked about that, but you have to understand that when you get a new name or a new genre, a lot of work comes with that. And that's the thing, Cher's just talked about if you're working and rah, rah, rah.
Yeah.
So there's all these sort of elements to think, because you've got your social media, that's now under two names. You've got your email newsletter, that's now under names. You've got your website. So there's a lot of things to think about. And the thing is, if you're going to do this, go all in. Don't be half-hearted about it. And that's what Cher's always done. She's gone all in and made those changes and done the websites and done the newsletters and done all of the stuff to give it a really good shot to make sure it grows. And I think that's something to take on board if you're thinking about committing to another pen name. It is a lot of work.
Yeah,
it is.
Doesn't necessarily have to be another pen name. If it's another genre, though.
Or genre, whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, exactly. You can have a pen name with two different genres in it. Don't get me wrong.
Well, you started like that, didn't you, Wendy? Because you had your famous bloomin' historical romance, and then you moved into contemporary romance. So you actually kept it under one name initially, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like you didn't see the read through for that, did you?
Well, I didn't think they were that. I mean, they were different genres, but I felt that they had the same values.
Exactly. But it's not what we think; it's what the reader thinks.
Different readers.
I actually think it's even more than that. I think it's actually, unfortunately, what the algorithms that determine who are going to see your books thinks. Yeah. To be honest with you,
and it can skew things, can't it? Especially on an Amazon page, it can skew things.
I think the authors that can do it well tend to be traditionally published, and so they're not maybe subject to those same algorithmic things as indies are, or that they've been very well established for a long time. But if you're starting out today, so I'm different to these guys. I've spent the last 2 years experimenting in different subgenres with different pen names, and so my goal was to give myself 2 years to settle on something that I really enjoyed and that I had proven financially. And so that goes completely against what Wendy just said about like being all in, because it was deliberate. I deliberately experimented and gave myself 2 years.
But you're coming at it from a place of years and years and years of knowledge.
Exactly.
And you're not a newbie.
No, I'm not, but I'm a newbie writer, and I didn't know what I was going to like writing either. And that's been a bit of a revelation as well, because I thought I could kind of take the feeling or the emotion out from myself, look very clinically at what's selling in the subgenres of romance. There's one at the moment that's, I'm not going to mention it because there's a few authors and they're doing really, really well, but it's in contemporary romance, and I'll call it anti-romance in a way, and it's relatively new, and the ones that are there at the moment are killing it. But it's not something I could write. So you kind of, I thought I could, but I can't.
No.
I tried like doing a woman's kind of fictiony serial thing that just, that never even saw the light of day. So I think you do have to try it, but in terms of the pen names now, if you're an indie author, I would say absolutely you need a pen name to differentiate, just from the algorithm point of view on the stores. Personally, that's my advice.
Having said that, you sometimes can tell what people's pen names are. Like you'll look up,
definitely.
And then the also boughts will be with these two very specific, and you're like, oh well, that must be their pen name. They're writing two series. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And then someone else, and you'll think, well, I did not know they wrote that.
Exactly.
I've been writing contemporary under a different name for a long time now.
Yeah.
And in my historical reader group, I posted about something that I'd written in my contemporary, and they went, we didn't know you were there.
No.
There you go. And
I was like,
that's what I want you to talk about, Wendy, quickly, to go back to what you were talking about before. You started the historical romances first, and then you started the contemporary because you really wanted to have it was like a palate cleanser almost, like you wanted to be able to write the two different series, and you started writing these two different series. Same writer, same writing skills, same talent for story, same great characters, but the historicals were always the ones that did a little bit better. But you've never given up on that series. Like you could have said, oh, well, it's not doing as well as my historicals, so I should double down on the historicals.
Yeah.
But you've kept going. And over time, those contemporaries have just gone up and up and up.
Yeah.
And so that's something else to consider, right?
Like, I mean, they'll never sell at this stage. They're not selling as well as Wendy. But then, I was traditionally published with Wendy. I think I got a really good jump start with that. People knew me as that. But when I moved into Lani, it was, it was building a whole brand new name and brand, and that takes time. Wendy had a good kickstart to get going, but now Lani's also wide. Wendy's not. It's a different. It's another thing all over again. You're building on all these platforms.
Yeah, that adds complexity to what you're managing.
Definitely a growth. It's definitely growing. It's a growth thing, and I get bored very easily. So for me, writing two was really important. So. I write one and then I write another, both names, and it just works for me. I just don't think I could stick with one.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, if I just stick with Wendy, I'd probably be way better off. But that's not who I am. So
you still have to keep that momentum going somehow. And even if it's tricking yourself that you're writing something different, well, you kind of are, but I certainly am. But it also gets the creative juices refreshed, keeps them refreshed, and
I mean, I don't write as many Lanis as I do Wendy a year, but you
got to feed that writer's soul still, right? We can't just all be machines.
So and the people that say that you should just write what you're passionate about, well, aren't you passionate about writing? That's the thing. And can you be passionate about writing something different? You absolutely can. And I'd just like to say one thing, that the very first book I published was a romantic suspense. So it kind of did feed into both my genres.
Yeah.
And I think it matters. It matters what you write and what feels good to write.
Absolutely. And I mean, the thing is, I could never turn around and write a science fiction.
Same.
My brain would just explode because I wouldn't even know where to start. But what I'm saying is, like that, I know that that's not my strength. So if I was going to change genres, it would be into another romance-based.
And that's another important thing, I think. It's like, so I'm fantasy writer, is how I think of myself now. And there's multiple, I started out with urban fantasy and I dabbled in cozy fantasy, and like I'm trying out different sort of areas of that. But I do think that, and I have tried to write, for example, a contemporary romance, and they always turn into witches and magic happens, I'm not, it's not in me. And so part of that is my identity. Like I feel like I'm someone who likes magic and dragons.
You're a witch.
I'm a witch. Thanks for that, Wendy.
Or a dragon.
Or a dragon. I'm a witch.
I didn't say that, Cheryl. You did.
I'm a dragon. I love dragons. I love my dragons. Nothing wrong with being a dragon. And so it's sort of, so we talk about changing genres, and some people maybe can really easily, but there's more to it. I think that for me anyway, it's part of my identity, who I am, and I don't, and it's also what I read. Like I like to read certain things. So if I wanted, I don't like. I've read dark romance, but I probably couldn't write it because I don't love it in the way that another reader might love writing those kind of dark romances, for example, or other genres where they're kind of maybe science fiction, like military science fiction would be completely out of my depth, and even if military sci-fi was killing it, like it was doing awesomely well, and suddenly everyone decided that it would have to be military sci-fi romance, clearly, because romance is the best genre in the world. But like even if that was the case, I still probably couldn't do it because it's not a genre that I kind of.
I admire people that jump on trends. I do, really, I do. But
if they can make it work and sustain it,
I couldn't do it.
I think
there's no way.
I think it's it's a particular skill set and a particular type of writer, and I do think you've either got it or you haven't, and know thyself and all of this, honestly, as well. So
I mean, I think it's I've always talked about having a crack at a romantasy, and I've got a nephew who's helping me. He's a fantasy. And he writes fantasy, and we caught up in the weekend, and he started talking about worlds, and I just looked at him and it was like he was speaking a foreign language, like Whereas I can write the romance and he can write the fantasy, so you've got to work your strengths out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But whether it happens or not is another thing. But it's a nice
another
idea.
thing you got to think about when doing that kind of thing is we had, I think it was Johnny Truant saying to us, and I think it was called something like it wasn't the golden chalice, but it was something like the poison chalice. Like you try a new genre, it's not something that you really like, but you give it a go because it's doing well, and then it kicks off, and suddenly you're writing the series, and you're known for the series of books that you don't really like writing and don't like the genre of. So why would you do that to yourself?
I couldn't do it. No.
Yeah.
Plus, don't you think it would come out in your writing if you didn't like it?
I think it would be so unusual for it to work like that, because I do think to write something well, you have to be a reader of it, or you have to understand why readers are reading it. So if it was something that you didn't like, boy, you must have.
I don't think I could finish writing. I think I'd get so far.
It's like me with my serial. I never finish it. I've got 40,000 words that will never see the light of day, because it's just I just ran
during
out
COVID. I wrote a thriller.
That's right,
a crime novel.
Yes.
They're all half finished because I was angry and angsty during that time.
Yeah.
I look at them now and I'm like, nah.
Better use of your time, right?
Yeah. What else you got?
So I just want to go back to our 5 things that you should think about, because we're completely way off topic.
Yes, we are.
Not that we're not off topic, just off the list of 5. So the next one on the list is check your relationship with your current genre. And is it so instead of maybe considering changing the genre, maybe you could consider changing something about your current genre, for example. Like maybe it's if your books aren't doing that well and that's why you're thinking of changing genre, could you maybe look at the covers again? Could you
amp up what's going on in them? Is there scope within your genre to just tweak?
Are you meeting all the requirements? Have you got some feedback on are you writing culinary cozy mysteries, but you're not putting enough baking in, kind of like that kind of thing.
It's like the historical romances, right? I started with traditional historical romances, Regency era basics, and then I moved into slight paranormal. Now I have mystery, within genres there is a lot of scope.
Absolutely.
So maybe instead of going completely to a whole new genre, is there a way that you can keep in the same genre, start a new series? Because maybe you're writing a series and you're not feeling the love and it's not selling and whatever. Maybe it's just a change up the series, do something different.
Yeah, maybe it's just
maybe it's a creativity thing. Maybe it's something else. So it
could be also it actually could be length of the story as well, depending on, like, for example, if you're writing in the, say, for example, the contemporary short romance reads, there's actually a difference between the ones that aim for the 90-minute short read category and the 2-hour. There's a different sort of reader expectations. The 2-hour ones are going to have more of a story, simply because you've got more word count. So it's that sort of understanding where you fit now. Are you actually meeting the reader expectations?
If you love the genre but you feel like it's not working for you, maybe that's that's a reason where you would go back to the drawing board, start again, and go, okay, if I love this genre, what are some of the basic things I love about this genre? Am I, just do a bit of critical thinking against your series.
And I think also taking into account, am I writing a single title? Am I writing a series? Would I be better writing a series? Would I be writing most genres? You can whack a bit of mystery in there, or tropes. Look at tropes and go, okay, well, what tropes do I love? Okay, I'm an enemies to lovers girl, or I'm a brother's best friend. So that's another thing you can think. Okay, well, maybe if I wrote something that had this trope in, or what are the things that you love that you can bring that you're not bringing? I think that's a really good place to start.
And always look at the top selling books by indie authors in your chosen one too. I think you can learn a lot from that. The paid top sellers.
But don't compare yourself to them.
No, but understand. So, for example, are you writing in third person and yet they're all writing in first person, for example? Is there a disconnect there for the readers that, so it's that kind of thing, that kind of detail, more just to make sure that you're fitting into that slot. And if you're not, that's fine, but that's why that could be an answer to maybe why you're not seeing the sales, along with lots of other things.
Yeah.
So,
and this discussion is actually based on the assumption that maybe you're wanting to change genres because you're not making the sales in the current genre. There could also be an element of you wanting to change because you're a bit burnt out on that genre and you kind of want to try something new. Or one of the things that she mentioned in her question was shiny object syndrome, and just wanting to start the next new shiny thing over here, and you're a bit bored of where you are currently. And I just
no, you go, Turtles.
I was just going to say, I recently was talking to someone. They suggested, because I suffer from this a little bit, like I'm in, at 3/4 point in a book, and then I'm like, oh, but wouldn't it be so much more fun to be over here writing this book? This book is a bit boring now. I don't like it anymore. But the shiny thing over here. And she suggested something which I didn't think would work initially, but has worked really, really well. And she said, keep writing the one you're writing, but give yourself like half an hour a day where you can go and plot and plan and do little fun things for the new shiny one over here. It's still in the same genre for me, so it's not like I'm shiny object different genre, but you could presumably do it with something in a different genre. So you're still working on your current genre, but you're playing in this other genre, and to see if it really is a better fit for you, you could be sort of doing other, but then not have it as your main thing. So that could be a way to test if it's just shiny object syndrome.
And I think
I
think a really good use of any time that you had like that you thought maybe I could spend it on this project over here, that's when you should be looking into what you need to do as an author to compete in that genre. Because if you don't understand that genre and know the tropes and know the keywords and know even how the book flows, then you're going to be in a world of pain if you then decide to just go from here to there with no information to back it up, no plan, if you like. And I'm a plotter, I'm a pantser, but you still need to know what you need to know to compete.
I think you've got to know your why. I think we tend to now want instant gratification, instant money, instant thing. You've got to understand how long we've been writing and how long it's taken us to build the careers we've got.
Yeah.
Look, you do get the breakouts. We've talked about it, but if you've got 3 books in a genre and it's not working, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to work. It means that you need to have a look at what's going on with those books.
Yes.
Don't just jump onto the next genre you think is going well just because you think you should. Okay. If it's a passion, that's a different story altogether. But if it's just because you're not selling, there are other things to look at before you make that jump.
Maybe you don't leave it as long as I did with nearly 20 books out.
Just choose wisely, write some lists, work out what's going on, why it's not selling, read your reviews, check your covers against other covers, blurbs, But if as I say, if you're wanting to write another genre, then obviously that's something you're going to need to do, and maybe Turtle's way is the best. But don't just jump because you think you're not successful. You're not going to be successful overnight. Very few people are. You've got to put the groundwork in.
And jumping around is actually going to slow it down for a lot of people as well, I mean, I just think with my shiny objects, and there's nothing that cures shiny object by actually doing the object. Like, it stops being shiny and suddenly it becomes work as well. So there can be a bit of that too, right?
And whatever you write is going to be work. And whatever you write is going to need marketing, and whatever you write is going to be. So eventually, if you move to another genre, chances are that will become a little bit hard work and as well. That didn't come out quite very eloquent.
No,
well, you know what I was saying? Yeah.
Potentially you won't get the read through if the genres aren't even close. Like if it's not a subgenre, if it's a completely new genre, chances are they won't
new
follow
audience,
you there.
right?
So you're starting all over again. You have to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Having said that, I think if you can, this is where it does help to actually, I think, get some other eyeballs on your current catalogue. If you've got some books out and they're not working, I think before you jump, I think I would ask some trusted other people that understand that genre for, if you're meeting, not for praise, but possibly where there's a disconnect between the readers and what you're offering.
not meeting
Because
expectations.
I can tell you, I can name right now like at least 2 or 3 authors who one of them, someone we all know very well, who have been writing in one genre and then said, right, I'm going to change genres and I'm going to write something different. And that something different took off and did really, really well.
Absolutely.
But that, I think, was because they were in all 3 examples, really experienced authors who've been writing for at least 8 to 10 years, if not more. And knew exactly what they're doing. So when they launched the new pen name, it was done in a certain way with certain kind of marketing, with, they put everything like Cheryl did with hers. They put everything into it. They didn't kind of go half-hearted.
And they'd often have at least 3 books ready to go rather than just launching with one book.
No,
often.
not even.
No,
but not the ones I'm thinking of, but it doesn't mean that. And also, actually, the ones I'm mostly thinking of are okay. So the first one is Rebecca Yarros with Fourth Wing. Right? She was a romance author, and she went into Fourth Wing, and that book by itself took off. Another one is Jennifer Armentrout. She was writing romance, straight romance, and they didn't want her to change. They were like telling her, no, you need to stay in romance. She wanted to write a new fantasy series, and she wrote and I can't remember the name of it, but it was the first of the ones that now have taken off and done really well. Another one is someone we've had on the show is I'm trying to think of what name I should call her because she's got lots of pen names, but she has a what is the right pen name? Anyway, friend of mine, Melissa, who has been on the show.
Katie Archer.
Katie Archer, thank you. I think that's it. Anyway, and Katie Archer is her pen name, and but did really, really well. But because she was an experienced author who'd knew what she was doing, did all the marketing stuff exactly right, and also chose the genre. Like she picked that genre, but it's a genre she loves writing in, not just a genre she just picked out at random. Like she did the Venn diagram, ones that are really popular, ones that I can write, and found something in the middle that she loves, and that's.
She did her apprenticeship, and I think that's what people are trying to skip nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, you got to dig in and do your apprenticeship to become Rebecca Yarros. Wasn't
it doesn't make for the sexy, write one book and suddenly you're an overnight millionaire.
Look, it might happen for some people, but very rarely.
Flash in the pan, that one. No.
Cheryl, you're
on mute, Cher.
I was going to say, nobody wants you to suffer or be depressed about it, but you also have to be very practical.
Yes.
It's a lovely idea, and I don't regret it one bit. It worked for me, but there's no promise that it works for everybody.
Yeah.
And I hope it does. I hope if you're the person that wants to change your genre, I hope it does work, but do the groundwork for it.
Yeah.
We're not telling you not to, are we?
No,
we're not
I'm
telling you
sure.
not to.
Don't.
But our caveat
stay
is
doing something that you're miserable doing.
But our caveat is make sure you're doing it for the right reasons and that you've done your groundwork.
Yeah, especially with shiny object syndrome, I feel like that would be easy to kind of make you. The third thing on our list is check your timing. So
yes,
it's just Wendy's kind of covered that already. So at what time, where are you in your current catalogue, as it were?
Where are you in your career? Where are you? Have you finished a series? Are you?
Can you manage
do you
to
have
keep
readers that have an expectation of you? Things like that.
Yeah, don't leave them cold turkey. If you've got people expecting you like you've promised it, get that done first.
And again, though, I'm not sure if we said this on camera or off, but sometimes at the beginning, like with me with my experimenting, it's easier to do right at the start than it is when you're further down the track. Because if Wendy suddenly detoured off writing her, her Regency romances now and suddenly went into, I don't know, thrillers only and just left it, there would be an uproar. So
it would.
Where it's easier when you're a nobody.
On the flip side,
embrace that time.
Exactly. But on the flip side to that is also that how we talked about changing within your genre, staying in genre. I changed after a significant, after I'd written a few books and I wrote paranormal, slight tinge of paranormal and a slight tinge of, but I already had the audience then and they came with me because they knew the books would be the same. They were in the same setting.
It was just changing
with a slight tweak.
Yeah.
And that's what we were talking about with the tweaking,
Yeah. So if the changing genres is because you're bored with your current genre, then maybe a tweak is where to go
within it.
And I mean, it could work if changing genres was about not making enough money, because then is there something within the same genre that is doing slightly better but is still considered, like is there a way to tweak what you're currently doing so that it could be more successful? Like
the best thing would be not to have a new pen name. Like that would be, in a perfect world, that would be ideal, because it's going to save you so much time, like so much time. But you have to
The
weigh that up.
reality is,
does it work? Yeah.
and
There's
the bottom
flaws and
line is, when you
against.
think about all the authors that we've had on over the years, like over the decade that we've been talking to different authors, the vast majority have had more than one pen name at some point.
Yes. Yeah.
So
sometimes they want to do a sneaky one that, they know they don't want anybody to know who they really are.
Start again, be you again.
They have a fancy one, that might be writing, Spanky Aliens or something, I don't know.
Again, she had to go there. I mean, she brought it in.
We
opened the door, she just walked straight through.
Nothing wrong with that either.
And you talk about that. Like KF Breen has talked about how she started I think it was called midlife something. Anyway, one of her genres, and she just went crazy on that series. Like she was just like putting all the cray and just going, like she just thought it was just a niche kind of one that a few people, and that I don't know if it still is, but for a while there, that was her best-selling series. People loved the weird, they loved the crazy that she was putting into these ones. And so sometimes maybe if it's like that, where you just go
a little bit unhinged,
I'm just going to go unhinged. I'm going to let the crazy out. People might love that, so maybe. Who knows? Maybe they won't, but it's
something you could do maybe when you've got another job.
Well, that's it too, right? I mean, it also, and that's a very personal thing, is it's a big call when you're earning steadily on something to jump into something else, a big call, whereas, in my situation, it's easy. Again, it's that beginner at the beginning is actually a time, personally, I think, to
anonymous,
to learn and be anonymous.
For me, it was.
But then you talk about the ones I was just talking about. They were all mid-career authors who changed. So it just depends where you. Yeah,
that's true. And also depends on your capacity for. It is like. It's a lot of work having another pen name. It's a huge amount of work, and just the setting up, the administration, the starting off on the new socials, all of that kind of stuff is a new newsletter. Suddenly you've got, and if you're not like in these guys' case, they're open about their different pen names, what they write with their different audiences. If you're not, then you've got these sort of almost split personality, and it's a lot of extra work to manage more than one.
I didn't feel like I was starting from scratch, but I was going to say before that, when I made the decision, it wasn't that hard, because I was quite depressed about the lack of sales. So I really get it, to anybody who's out there. But I had almost 20 books. And I mean, when do you say enough's enough? I mean, I had tried different things. I had tried different covers, and I still believe today that they're good books. Well, I have to tell you that a publisher took them on a year ago, and
exactly
that was the validation that I needed, really, that they were worthy of somebody's attention. It just couldn't be mine. I just wasn't doing that side of it right, so they've recovered them, and they've done new blurbs, and they're doing okay, not doing fantastically, they're not doing as well as my cozies, but now I don't have the stress of worrying about it. I still write newsletters, but it's it's taken a lot of pressure off me, so that helped, but I didn't start out that way with the new genre, that came later.
Yes,
so it's helped me in my future as with a new pen name, but not at that time. So I didn't want to give you any false ideas about how that all worked out for me. It was literally, I can do this now. I can get rid of one pen name, get rid of it. I still write. In fact, I did a serial in one of my newsletters just so I was maintaining that contact. And I would put, like, if Wendy had a sale, I would put her book in there, or friends that I know that had a sale or a new release. And that's kind of then gives me a way of going into Book Funnel and joining other promos and putting my stuff in there, because even if you do what I did, you still have to promote two genres in some capacity. Always.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Because there's other ways to kind of make them. I don't know whether romance and cozy is quite the same, but I'm thinking like for Wendy, for example, like with the historical romance and the contemporaries, like for example, things like heat level and, you know, like kind of maintaining that, you know, even though it's two genres, like maintaining a sense of sameness, like a same kind of swashbuckling, heroic, that's not even a word, heroic characters from one genre to another. That might be a way to link them and kind of have two
they're very
genres
similar.
running.
They have very similar values, very similar morals, very similar setup, small town, family, you know, like, not small, but, you know, family connections, loyalty, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Siblings. It's all this, it's very similar, but very different.
Yeah. So that's a connection. So someone who's read one side might,
and
not
I do
always,
have
though.
people cross over. Yeah.
I do. I mean, as a reader myself, I've got one of my favorite authors was always Amanda Quick, and her name is also Jane Ann Krentz. And I will read contemporary Jane Ann Krentz's. I will read the historical romances, but she's got futuristic kind of romance ones, and I don't like them as much. I sort of don't really read them. And she was always, I remember listening to her talk about that, and she was gutted because she thought everyone, you know, I think those are her favorite ones, you know, like she loves writing those futuristic ones and thinks that everyone should read them. And for whatever reason, her readers don't follow her there, but they will follow between the other two genres. No worries. So,
it's kind of sad when you get to that realization, but like we're writing for ourselves in the way that it's all about the passion, but actually we're writing for our readers, pure and simple. They're the ones that are funding us to be able to do this, to live this life.
You're a storyteller, right? You want to tell a story. You want people around the fire pit listening to your story, and it's tough when they don't want to listen.
And you've decided that genre is the reason, or maybe if you switch genre, it might be better. But so I just want to go back to the list because I want so we can have it in the title. We can definitely use all five. We've done number 4 is check your brand and your readers, which I kind of feel like we've talked about. It's like whether you should use the same pen name and you know all the rest of it. So that one's kind of just think about the reader crossover, heat levels, new name, which you have to build from scratch versus keeping, you know, and reader loyalty. Will they come with you? Number 5 is check your practical reality, and some of the things we have already talked about, like the practical reality of having another pen name or another genre on your thing, and reinvestment in things like new covers and ads and for 2 different genres if you're going to keep the
financially it will be more
and having to relearn a new genre as well. Like, is it a genre that you know intimately, or is it one that you just think looks popular? Like romantasy, doing really super well at the moment. But if you've never read a romantasy before in your life, probably should go read some and figure out, you know, like there'll be work involved in choosing a new genre. And are you up for that? And have you?
It takes time.
On a positive note, if you were writing in your usual genre, you would be paying for covers, editors, things like that. Starting a new genre, you have to pay for covers and editors. So nothing changes there. It's whatever you do and how you set up your pen name is where the cost comes in. You know, and if you will lose sales from your previous genre, those are the bigger issues to deal with. But the rest of it is the same. You know, you're going to do a newsletter. You know,
like unless you're trying to balance both, unless you're trying to maintain both sides, in which case.
It also depends on the reason.
Made a plan for it, so I think that's really wise to do too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It depends on the reason you're switching genres. I think, like if you're switching genres because the current one's not making money, and you know you can always give up on that genre and you're just going to move wholeheartedly into the new one, then that's almost like no difference, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you've got a genre where you are doing okay in and you're getting an income and you don't want to lose that income, and then you also want to start a new genre. That's a whole different thing, because then you're going to have to try and maintain the original genre with things like newsletters and ads, but also new books in the series. Plus, on top of that, there's this new genre that you're going to have to set every, you know, like that becomes a big.
Got to plan that stuff.
It's not something that just can, I'm going to hop over, you know, like you can do that. But if you want to be successful, if you want to build a career, then you've got to put the groundwork in.
Yeah.
Do your time, do your research, understand what you've got ahead of you if you're going to do it.
And I would say before you even write that first book, you write yourself a prequel. Doesn't have to be particularly long. And then you've already got a reader magnet for your newsletter. And you've also got something to advertise that you can put a pre-order link in for that very first book. And that will set you up and start you off quicker than anything else.
It will also help you understand whether it is shiny object, because when you actually have to complete something in the new one, and you still are like, I really enjoy this, or it feels right.
I can't wait to get into the series.
It helps solidify that sort of feeling.
Yeah. Good point, Cheryl.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's part of the final. So we've done the 5, but there's one little final extra takeaway that we're going to talk about, and that was you can test before you commit. And so testing via a shorter story that you write, a prequel kind of deal.
Like Cher just said,
just everything that we just said. And just kind of all the things we kind of said, just go back and just double check, like make sure that
do your groundwork before you do it.
Check your why. Honestly, I think that's if nothing else, just make sure, why are you switching? Is it for a good reason, or are you just a bit bummed at the moment, and maybe 3 books needs to become 5?
Bummed. I mean, I think everybody goes through times like that. That's completely fine too. It's not just you.
And that's why we were obviously talking about changing genres during a mental resilience episode.
Exactly.
It's maybe changing genres is a part of giving yourself a kind of a kick in the pants to do something different, and that's perfectly fine if that's where you're going at it. That's not a problem at all. So just
sometimes you just want to know what if.
Sometimes you do, but I think we'd probably summarize it up to say nobody can tell you whether it's the right decision or not for you. I think it really does come down to you, and sometimes you just have to try and maybe fail. And that's okay, because then you've learned a lot. So it's still a win at the end of the day.
But hopefully we've given you some ideas how to make it less onerous,
But every book you write is still a learning process. You're learning something new about writing.
It's not
you're
wasted.
Getting better. You're learning something different. You're learning that genre wasn't for you, if that's what you have to learn. Like, I don't know, like there's always something
it might
you
not
can
be for
learn
you at this time in your life. Who knows?
So, don't be discouraged, but I think if it's exciting and fun and in a genre that you think is about to take off, then why not?
We believe in you.
We believe.
And what I would say, just to help you out, that we are in our Superstars Mastermind Facebook group. So if you want to come along and join Patreon, it's just a $2.50 a week or $10 a month. Then we're really happy to kind of brainstorm, brainstorm this kind of thing with our members in there. It's all private. No, the rest of the family can't see that. If you are considering writing Spanky Aliens, that's totally fine. And
you had to go there with Spanky Aliens
or werewolves or whatever. But also with covers and that kind of thing. If you want to you've got some concepts and that. Sometimes it's nice to just get some feedback and just kind of so that's what we're there for, and we really appreciate questions like this, so thank you.
Awesome. Thank you to everyone who listened to this episode of the Spa Girls podcast.
Yes,
hopefully we gave you something to think about, but we can't tell you what to do, so don't expect us to say absolutely you have to do it this way, because that's not
there is no golden ticket, people.
And then and steer clear of anybody that does say that. Listen to us
or wants to take your money.
Exactly.
But what they said exactly. And thank you all for listening to another episode of the Spa Girls podcast. We'll be back again next week, but for now we shall say farewell.
Bye.
Bye.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.